This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Don't ever underestimate what you're seeing from the Miami Heat. Don't ever look at it and take it for granted, because I think that's what happens when you have greatness around for a while. We did it with Shula, you know what I mean? And the mistakes we made with Shula, we can never make with Riley. Some of you were willing to make the same mistakes because some of you wanted to give up on Pat Riley a couple of years ago when he made a couple of bad decisions with a couple of contracts. And I was never on board for that. I always said, hey, look, Pat screwed up. Give him an opportunity to get out of it. And don't underestimate, don't underappreciate what Eric Spoelstra is as a coach, what that culture is, because you look around the NBA and there are teams that would kill to have organizations like the Miami Heat that are setting the example of how to play the game the right way, constantly focused, the effort. I got to tell you something. While it should be a given, I take a lot of pride when I hear announcers and ex-players, ex-coaches brag about the effort that the Miami Heat players are giving. I swell with confidence. It brings a smile on my face because we kind of live in this era of, entitlement, and that's a disease that has actually infiltrated the football canes for many, many years. A lot of the kids that were recruited there over the last 15 years, they got there and they put on the helmet and they thought right away they were already what, Jim Kelly did and what Warren Sapp did and what Jerome Brown did and what Willis McGahee did. And all of a sudden they thought they were them when they hadn't paid any dues, when they hadn't really sacrificed, when they hadn't upheld what those guys did in the past. The Brett Rombergs became great because they worked their asses off to become great. Okay? The Santana Mosses worked their asses off to become what they were. And so they established that because it was Kelly, and then it was Kozar, and then, you know what I'm saying? It was Erickson and all that. And so everybody was establishing the culture, and people followed. That died out because they didn't have the right people to maintain it. Appreciate what you got in Riley. Appreciate what you got in Spoelstra, because, and you see the players after the game, how they, salute to Riley after the game and all of that. It's because, we joke around with it and we talk about the Godfather and we say all this stuff, but, this is the real deal, man. Appreciate the hell out of this. Embrace this. The other day we were talking about life after Riley, and I told you I'm terrified of it, and that's because you don't know what you're going to get. Once you lose Don Shula, you don't know what you're going to get. And we saw what we got. And it's been disastrous up until now that it looks like Flo and company and Chris Greer actually understand what it is to reimpose a culture and get it going in the right direction. They're not there yet, but they've got to try. The Panthers have been trying for many, many years. You know what I mean? The Marlins have never established a culture, ever. Not even in their championship years. Those were things that were just lightning in a bottle. Culture and consistency and effort and success year in and year out is really difficult. Okay? It's extremely difficult. And the way that the Heat organization has done it year in and year out, and let me tell you something, it's a blessing to have the Heat here. You know why? It puts pressure on the Dolphins. It puts pressure on the Marlins. It puts pressure on the Panthers. It puts pressure on Inter Miami. Every professional team looks at them and says, they're making us look terrible. And it's not that the Heat are trying to make you look terrible. The Heat are doing their job. Pat Riley does his job every year. Eric Spoelstra does his job every year. Chuck Kramer and Andy Ellisberg and all these people that are in the front office, they do their job every year. Everybody does their job. The people in Sioux Falls are doing their job developing the kids that might be called up to the Heat one day. Everybody does their job. And it's funny that when everybody does their job, look at the rewards that you and I have had now in the last 25 years because of Pat Riley. Because Mickey Harrison said, okay, yeah, I'll take over, but I got to get a guy that really is going to run this organization. I'll do whatever I have to do, and he did it. And since that was the greatest decision ever, right? It's like Joe Robbie making the move for Shula. Same thing. You got to make the tough move, even if there's a sacrifice that comes with it, because long term it's gonna pay off. So while you're enjoying this 2-0 run, okay, take inventory of what's happened, appreciate it, because whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in life, whether it might be your kids, it might be your friends, it might be your business, consistency is tough. It's tough to achieve anywhere. And the consistency that franchise has had for a quarter century now is something that you should never, ever underappreciate, because they are producing year in and year out for your benefit, for my benefit, for our entertainment. I mean, 2020 has sucked. This is making 2020 just a little better, okay? I wish 2020 disappeared and it never happened, because I don't want to see 190,000 Americans and a lot more that are going to die. We're still losing like 1,000 a day. It hasn't really, people talk about, some of the positivity rates and all that, but the death rate is still.
It's not under control?
No, it's not under control. Let's not make it sound like it is. And 2020 has sucked, and this makes it just a little bit more tolerable. And I want to thank the Miami Heat for not just this year, for the last 25 years of Pat Riley's tenure here has been so amazing. And I just never let it go under the radar.
Level of consistency, obviously the Patriots, 6 championships, yeah, we know. Man, the Heat, is there any other sports franchise that could say 25 years?
Oh, like this? It's really tough, man.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it over here, and I'm going, you know what, man? I mean, obviously the Patriots are on another plateau.
Right.
But, man, we're not far behind. I don't know anybody else has got 25 years like us, bro.
I'm with you. I'm with you.